friends, thanks for tuning in on Mommy Monday. So this time around I wanted to do a new series where I share some things that I've learned through experience and I just sit here and I chat with you. So today I wanted to talk about things that someone may not tell you after giving birth. So I just wanted to just go over some things if you're a new mom and you're experiencing certain things that may happen postpartum. I hope that this video, helps you feel better about yourself, about life after having a baby, because there are so many things that no one talks about and it's completely normal. So the first thing that I wanted to mention is that this is a TMI video. Let me tell you right now, that's just how I go. So definitely one of the first things I wanted to mention was that no one ever tells you this, but after you give birth, whether it's a C-section or a vaginal birth, you bleed a lot. Like I remember for me, I bled I think for 9 weeks when I had Liam, and then for my second son Jacob 6 weeks, and you just bleed a lot. You're constantly wearing a pad, and I didn't know that after giving birth. Like when I first had my first son, no one ever told me that. I only knew from Pinterest, but yeah, you wear pad and you just keep on wearing your pad. Another thing that I didn't think would happen, just because I didn't have a vaginal birth, if you're having a C-section or a vaginal, I didn't know. I just thought only women who had vaginal births would bleed, but no, it doesn't matter. C-section or not, you're still going to bleed no matter what. Another thing is a few days after having a baby, your hormones will fluctuate. It will, I had what you call baby blues when I had Liam, or just a weird hormonal shift where I had to cry it out for 2 days straight. I remember because I was vlogging at the time when I just gave birth to Liam. I just had to cry and cry, and then it went away real fast, after I cried. It also, I didn't have baby blues with Jacob, so every pregnancy, every situation is different, but I remember crying when my in-laws left, because Sharon and Steve, my in-laws, they're from Minnesota, and they stayed for a week and they helped me get through my C-section. They helped the entire family, they helped with meals. Also, David and Susan, my parents-in-law who live in the Bay Area as well, they helped. But when Sharon and Steve stayed for a week, their help meant so much to me that I cried when they left. It was, again, hormonal, my hormones fluctuating, or me feeling so incredibly grateful to have such an amazing support system. We have 3 sets of grandparents, and my so much help meant a lot. So that's another thing, is never be shy to ask for help, because you're gonna need it. You're gonna need to heal. Your body's gonna need to get through everything it went through. Plus, you're taking care of a newborn, and if you have another kid, you're taking care of your newborn, your other kid. It's a juggling act. It's insane. Another thing that I learned is that it's okay to not do it all, especially when you if you're that personality type that likes to get everything done. You have to let that go. It's okay that maybe one day your accomplishment of the day was getting a shower and that was it, and taking care of the baby. It's okay to have those days. First of all, you're going through a lot of pain. You're probably on pain meds if you got a C-section. So the fact that you can't cook yet, or you can't do all these things, you can't do your dishes, you can't do laundry, that's okay. That's why you may have your spouse, your partner help you with that, or a support system like I mentioned. So after giving birth, don't expect your body to go right back to pre-pregnancy, because it takes a while. I noticed that with breastfeeding, it helped me lose so much weight without even working out. But working out and eating right, of course, is what's going to get you to your pre-pregnancy weight. But don't beat yourself up for the way you look, especially the first few weeks. I felt after I gave birth to both my sons, I would look at my body and I would look at my stomach and think, why do I still look 6 months pregnant? I thought that I would just snap back, but that doesn't happen, it's okay. Now, this is a TMI warning, but no one ever tells you about your first bowel movement after giving birth. it is painful. Like, the doctors will give you stool softeners, but still, take the stool softeners that the doctor gave you, drink some water, drink some prune juice, do whatever you have to do. You know what I mean? And that's all I have to say. Hemorrhoids, that's all I have to say. Maybe get, some cream for that, but there is going to be or might be some pain, so just prepare yourself for that. Everyone says this to you before you give birth, but they always say get as much sleep as you can. Honestly, to me, that made no sense, because even if I got as much sleep as I could during my pregnancy, that does not make up for the fact that I'm going to lose so much sleep like when I have a newborn. And it's true, you're not going to get any sleep. Like, you'll be lucky if your baby sleeps through the night, and to me, sleeping through a night for a newborn is like 2 hours. But you're definitely going to lose sleep, especially if you're breastfeeding. I feel like breastfeeding moms get less sleep for some reason, because babies, I forgot what it's called, but they the breast milk goes through them faster than formula. But that shouldn't scare you away from breastfeeding. Like, I have breastfed both my boys and I just absolutely love it. But there's, like, whatever you choose to do, don't let anyone shame you into doing one thing or another. Like, it is your choice, it is your body. And although I breastfeed my sons, I'm not like telling you guys like, oh, do it. Like, of course, I think it's an amazing thing to breastfeed your child. I know how nutritious it is for your baby, but never let anyone shame you if you choose to not breastfeed, or if you dry up faster than whenever, it's okay. Another thing that I noticed, like, way after giving birth, is that there's this thing called post-weaning depression. I stopped breastfeeding Liam when he turned 2, and out of nowhere, I don't know what happened to me, but I fell into a really, like, the lowest, deepest depression. Like, I don't know why. I also had miscarried before Liam turned 2, so maybe it was all of that combined. But I started doing my research, and it's such a thing. There's such a thing called post-weaning depression. It's because your hormones are going through another huge shift, that you're just trying to, I don't know, your body's just trying to regulate itself. But for months, I was really depressed. Like, I was even going to see a therapist, and I just needed help. Like, I was getting tested for everything. My thyroid, I was getting my blood tested. Like, I felt like not myself. I didn't want to wake up in the morning. I didn't know what was wrong with me. And then one day I woke up and I felt normal again. And when I had post-weaning depression, that was tough on me, on my family, on Liam. Liam was like, Mommy doesn't smile like as much as she used to. Like, I had no expression, and I shared this whole journey through vlogging, and people thought like I was making it up. Like, you're not depressed. Like, what are you talking about? You have nothing to be depressed about. But the thing is, when you have a hormonal imbalance, it doesn't matter how people perceive your life. If you're feeling this hurt and this pain because it's actually a chemical imbalance or some hormonal issue, it's real. And like, people should never like devalue how you feel. So that's what I went through, and I'm so grateful, because when I got out of it, no one knows what it's like to be depressed. But when you do, and when you get out of it, like, it goes away, you are grateful for every little happy emotion. And that's where I'm at. Like, it lasted only for a few months, but I gotta tell you, it was like the toughest. So what I wanted to share is, if you're going through postpartum depression, baby blues, post-weaning depression after breastfeeding, all of that is normal. But if it's lasting a little too long, never be afraid to get help. Because I was gonna go to a therapist, and then the next week after, I felt better, which was a coincidence, but I was ready and willing to see a therapist, because I wanted to do everything I could to get better for my family, because I didn't feel like I could live that way, like, to be sad. Like, I wanted to like enjoy the moments with my family in a not so like hurtful way. Like, everything hurt. Like, and when you're depressed, your body hurts. Like, you want to sleep more, you lose motivation. Like, there's just so much that goes on, not just like mentally, but physically. So definitely get help if you need it. Like, don't think that there's something wrong with you. It's not you. It's, of course it is us, but you know what I mean? we didn't cause it. It just happened to us, unfortunately. Is everyone will tell you how to parent your child. Like, everyone has an opinion on what is right, but at the end of the day, take all that advice with a grain of salt, because you truly know what is right. You know, like, that in your heart you're a good parent, and that's all that matters. For example, when Liam was young, he would stick his tongue out a lot. And I vlog, so I see comments all the time, and people were telling me like, oh, your son needs to get checked. I think your son is this and that, and all these things. And it would get to me sometimes, like, although most of the time it didn't, but certain days I'm like, oh no, is there something wrong? So I would go to the doctor during his checkups and like briefly mention like, oh, is this normal? He's sticking out his tongue a lot. And she was like, it's normal, it's just a habit, or like things like that. So it's okay to sometimes be hyper, especially when you're a first time parent. Everything will freaking scare you, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, sometimes the things that you worry about might be normal, you know what I mean? Like me worrying about Liam sticking out his tongue, like, it was normal. Another example is when Liam didn't walk yet. Like, I think it took him 14 or 15 months to walk, and all of my friends, everyone's babies, they were all walking and my son was not. And I was like, what's going on? So of course I asked the doctor again, like, what is going on? Why is he not walking? Is this normal? She's like, it's normal. Every kid, at the end of the day, every kid reaches their milestones at a different age. For example, Liam, like, although he didn't walk as quickly as other babies that were born around his age, and friends that I've had, that like, they've had babies and like their kids were walking and stuff. My son, Liam, he talks so well. So like, it doesn't matter. Every kid hits every stage at a different time. So don't, like, it's hard, but don't compare your child with someone else's child. Even if they're the same age, they're not going to be doing everything at the same time. You know what I mean? When you become a parent, I think it happens naturally, but sometimes the friends that you have that are not parents, they don't understand what it's like to be a parent. So when you say like, oh, I sleep this time, or oh, I eat this time, they'll be like, dang, like what? Like, like, just because their lives are so different than yours. Parent life is very different than single life or life without kids. And so like, those friends who love you and appreciate you and know the challenges of being a parent, they will stick around. But then maybe those that just don't understand it and can't comprehend the idea that you can't be there 24/7, like, when they need you, like, oh, let's go here, let's go out tonight. No, sometimes that doesn't work. I have to find a babysitter. I have to ask grandparents if they can watch my kids a week ahead before I can actually go somewhere in the evening. So that's the reality of life. So if you like partying it up, clubbing and stuff, you're going to have to miss that for a while or forever, because you're going to need grandparents or a babysitter to watch your kid before you can actually do all those things. And if you're a breastfeeding parent, you better believe your whole life revolves around breastfeeding. Like, I love it. Like, breastfeeding, like, I love it, but some people complain about like, oh, this is all day I'm breastfeeding. And I'm like, yeah, I feel blessed to do that. Like, I love breastfeeding my baby. Like, it's such a privilege to be able to do that. But, just know that it's time consuming and it takes up, like, you can't leave the house unless, like, if you're going to run an errand on your own, you have to make sure, like, you have enough pumped breast milk. And if you're a working mom, you really have to pump a lot at work and things like that. I think that it's definitely a challenge, breastfeeding overall. But I have a whole video on breastfeeding. I'm not going to talk all about breastfeeding, but like, breastfeeding is one of the biggest challenges, and there's just so many things to it. Everyone thinks it's a natural thing, which it is, but there's so many parts to it that people don't think about. Like, a mother cannot leave her home or run an errand on her own without being prepared. You know what I mean? You can't just like be like, here's formula, bye. No, it's like, let me pump for like 10 minutes and make sure I have enough. Like, oh, how many ounces do I need to have in the freezer and things like that. Another thing that may happen after giving birth is that you might lose hair. I went bald with both my boys, and even now I have balding, but I covered it up with eyeshadow. I did a video on this, so it'll come out very soon if you guys want to check that out. But yeah, postpartum hair loss happens and it's natural, and you just have to wait it out. I rub castor oil and I feel like that helps, but it's another thing that happens after giving birth. As far as like body image, I feel like there are so many moms out there on Instagram posting their body like a day after they give birth and their stomach is flat. That is not reality, you guys. Those are just some of the stuff that I thought of right now. I probably will think of so much more after this video has been filmed, but thank you guys so much for listening. In the comment section, share some things that some people don't tell you after giving birth. Like if you are a mom and I didn't mention it, share it below, because I want this to be a nice positive community where we can talk about things that no one ever tells you, like when you have kids or after giving birth and the whole process. I love you friends so much. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my video, because you guys know I film really long videos. They're not like 2-minute videos, so I appreciate you so much. And if you guys like vlogs, I have a vlog channel, April Justin TV. I also love to bake. I have Cook with April, and I'll see you guys there on my other channels too. I love you guys. Bye.